Hey guys, I was kind of expecting this, and I'll go into why. I'm in Earthquake 3D. I just watched one of Master of Many Things videos, and I wasn't aware that we had so many earthquakes today. This is Earthquake 3D. The data comes directly from the USGS. I'm looking at all quakes in the last day, or maybe the last 36 hours. I want you to just take a look at this. Some areas are so dense you cannot count. I'll zoom in a little bit. Look at the Baja region. This site is disturbing because some people, like Suspicious Observer, are of the opinion, and I agree, that this could be a greater tsunami risk to the East Coast than the Canary Islands. We've been seeing activity ramp up here, if you've been keeping up with this at all. And odd places like down near the South Pole. I've got another source somewhere. You notice you hardly ever see any quakes reported in Canada. Oh, they're there. USGS doesn't report them. We have a link on our site called LISS seismic map, which will show all the quakes reported up in this region of Canada. If you look around the Ring of Fire, I mean, you can tell exactly where the Ring of Fire is at. Just follow the quakes. Now look up the Ring of Fire and you're going to see the same pattern. Anything in Japan should scare the hell out of all of you. Okay, so what's the deal? Think of the Earth's crust and what's beneath it. What's in the Earth's crust besides dirt and clay and all sorts of minerals? Well, you've got different types of metals. Some of those can hold a magnetic field. You've got a lot of magnetite deposits. Iron ore. Okay, well, what's about 100 miles down beneath that? You start getting into magma and molten iron as you get closer to the core. Does that produce or maintain a magnetic field? Of course it does. Where do you think the Earth's magnetic field comes from? Well, let me bring up a new page and show you why I find this important. And this may take a second to load, so bear with me. With all the solar activity we've been having, it has been playing havoc with our magnetosphere. So, for a second, imagine the Earth's crust as a bunch of saltine crackers inside a big balloon filled. And all these saltine crackers have magnetic properties, and they're all broken up. Well, then you got an atmosphere around that, an atmospheric pressure. Now, over the past 4 or 5 days, we've had wild expansion and then compression and then wild expansion again. You're talking about thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of miles between the surface of the Earth, the outer layers of the atmosphere, and the magnetopause, shown by this bow shock. Things are looking very mild right now, but I can tell you, over the past 4 or 5 days, and I have made some videos about it, this shows the outer limits of our magnetopause, where you're pretty much out of the Earth's influence. So, space pretty much begins beyond this point. Inside this boundary, you're within the Earth's influence and environment. Do you see this expansion and compression? And this is over just minute intervals. Let me rewind that a second. Actually, it was at the end. Watch this. It almost goes out of view. Do you see that expansion? Okay, now imagine, go back to the saltine crackers filled up inside a inflated balloon visual in your head. Imagine this is the balloon. The saltine crackers are all your plates, your continents, the Earth's crust with molten iron core and lava, magnetite ore beneath that. With this wildly fluctuating magnetic field, and you can see the flow lines and how distorted and twisted our magnetic field becomes during these storms. Is it any wonder, especially with all this compression going on, that you would have this going on at the same time? It doesn't surprise me a bit. And if you ask me, it just adds more fuel to the fire and supports the electric universe theory. I think pretty soon some of these so-called great minds of the world are going to be forced to rewrite the physics books, because I think Newtonian physics is getting a bit old and outdated. If we want to progress as a species, I'm just saying, I think sooner or later we're going to have to look more seriously into the electric universe model and at least try to join the two, resolve the two, or abandon one or the other. Because some of the current models we have just don't fit the trends and the patterns and the observations that we make. Does solar activity cause seismicity? Well, that's still up for debate, but if you ask me, you're damn right it does. And I've just explained why I feel that way. Feel free to comment if you disagree, or if you agree. Criticism is welcome. Without criticism and debate, we make no scientific advances. And it doesn't take a PhD on your wall to figure some of this stuff out, guys. As one of my good friends always says, depend on your common sense and the fundamentals you were taught. It doesn't take fancy equations to figure everything out. Remember the fundamentals, common sense, and a little bit of critical thinking. You guys take care.